Hello everyone, and thanks for tuning in again. In today's video, we're going to talk about blood glucose and how it affects your body. While you may not be familiar with the term blood glucose, I'm sure you're familiar with the terms carbohydrates, starches, and sugar. All of these foods and all of these words are sources of your body's blood glucose. Therefore, I believe it is important to know how you can control it and how it affects you. First, we will discuss the pathway of these carbohydrates through your body and how they contribute to blood glucose. When you eat a food that is a significant source of carbohydrates, your body begins to break it down through an enzyme in your mouth known as amylases. Further on, once that food hits your small intestine, it is absorbed and blood glucose is produced inside the bloodstream in your body. However, I feel it is important to know that this is not the only way in which glucose is placed into our bloodstream. In times where we have not eaten food, glucagon can raise your blood glucose by pulling it from your fat stores. I mentioned this in an earlier video and I will link it in the description in case you would like to know more. Once your body has taken the carbs you've eaten from your daily food intake and placed it into your bloodstream as glucose, it can be used for reactions needed for the energy of day-to-day life. But what happens to glucose when you don't need it for energy for everyday life? Well, your body stores it, of course, for the times when you are without food. Now, you may know the answer to this next question, but how does your body store this glucose and store the energy from it? Well, there are two main ways in which your body can store the energy found in blood glucose. It can convert the blood glucose into glycogen, which is stored in your muscles. Furthermore, once your glycogen storage is full, your body begins to store this excess glucose as fat. A certain amount of fat is healthy and necessary for everyday life, as it allows us to have energy for times when we are not currently eating food. However, as fat accumulates, your body becomes resistant to making more fat. And when your body is resistant to making more fat, the sugar stays in your bloodstream. This is a process known as insulin resistance, which we have talked about in previous videos. I will link them in the description in case you want to know more. When your body can no longer remove glucose from its bloodstream, and levels stay elevated for long periods of time, this can lead to complications such as rises in blood pressure and organ damage such as kidney damage and blindness. This is why it's important we help our body as much as we can through diet and exercise. Through our diet, we can control our carbohydrate and sugar intake and therefore control our blood glucose. According to the ADA, we should roughly consume 15 grams of carbohydrates in every snack and 60 grams of carbohydrates in every meal. The ADA allows for 3 meals and 1 to 2 snacks a day, totaling 200 grams of carbohydrates per day. I'd like to reinforce that while foods that contain carbs are not inherently bad, in fact they comprise the majority of our diets, the average person in Western culture consumes far too much carbs, and that is why I believe it is important we put an emphasis on regulating carbs to what is healthy for our bodies. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and make sure to tune in next week when we discuss flu shots, as flu season is right around the corner and we can talk about some common myths in our society. Remember to like and subscribe and comment below any topics you'd like for us to approach in the future. Thank you for watching.